to the Seattle Center Coliseum. Game 2 in this best-of-5 first-round series between Seattle and Denver. And Denver with the early lead, 6-2, as we have 9:43 to go in the first quarter. Kendall Gill missing there. Michael Cage tries to come up with it, and Detlef Schrempf has a jump ball. I'm Gary Bender along with Jack Gibbons. Very big.
Yeah, Payton just took Abdul-Rauf out of his game a couple nights ago, would not let him get going on offense. He was 3 of 12 from the field, while Payton had 20 points. That's going to be the key. Also in the middle, so far in this game, Mutombo has touched the ball every time down in their half-court offense for Denver.
Dan Issel said that his team played scared. They had only 2 guys who had played in previous playoff games, and they came out and were intimidated by the Seattle team. Rebound by Reggie Williams. But right now, even though they're off the 6-2 start, reminiscent of Thursday night, you can see Denver playing with a lot more confidence.
And I think that is so important. They have to get off to a good start in this game. Yes, they got off to a good start in the other game, but a lot of shots coming from the outside. So far in this game, they're attacking the basket, trying to get Mutombo's shots down low.
We approach 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Sellout crowd here. They've sold out every ball game this year in Seattle. First time in franchise history. Missed by Gill. Sean Kemp. The man-child, the 24-year-old two-time All-Star with a chance for a three-point play.
This guy flat plays off the emotion of this crowd, and it's loud in this building. And he understands what he is going against Mutombo, one of the best, if not actually the best, shot blocker in the NBA. You can't leave it up there. You have to take it right to the hole, and Kemp completes the three-point play.
As an end result, we have a one-point game. You mentioned Mutombo. He averaged 4.1 blocks, 336, leading the NBA, setting a franchise record, and also, in only his third year, has the career record for block shots in Denver. Mutombo, the double on him. And he tries to wheel inside. He hooked him, and that's 2. And that's exactly what Dan Issel didn't need, is to get his Warrior in foul trouble early.
Well, the real important thing about that, as you look at Dan Issel, is Mutombo is the guy on this team that works the hardest. And because of that, everyone else, it filters through the rest of the team. So it's important for them to have him on the bench. Now, you see Brian Williams coming into the ballgame. Brian, another guy that plays with a lot of energy, but he's not going to be as effective around the basket as Mutombo, especially on the defensive end of the floor.
There's Dan trying to settle Mutombo down. Brian Williams had a very good game Thursday night. He was 6 of 6 from the field and had 15 points. And is playing with a lot of confidence. We noticed that even in Thursday's game when they were beaten by 24 points. Nate McMillan, who checked in, is fouled. That basket will not count. It's waved off. Let's look back to the game on Thursday night. Denver got off to a good start, 8-2. Then they missed their next 8 field goal attempts, went 5 minutes without scoring, and they never did recover.
Well, you look at these numbers, 50 free throw attempts to just 17. 52 rebounds to 34. Those a couple of areas, but really the area that the Sonics excelled in and set the pace in was their points off of turnovers. They force a lot of turnovers, and they have all 5 guys on the floor that handle the ball, so that gives them a lot of opportunities to run, and they made a lot of real good decisions in the open floor.
They call it the SOS swarming defense. They just run you off the floor. That's going to be off of Denver. And so the Sonics will inbound with 8:26 to go in this first quarter of plays. It's even at 6.
Denver just cannot be afraid, and they can't be just totally taken aback by this pressure. They have to be smart. They have to make good decisions.
And some of that did not happen Thursday night. Here's Reggie Williams from the corner. John Kemp had the inside position on Brian Williams. And look how he handles it in the open floor.
Yeah, that's just so tough when your big people can bring the ball out and lead you on the fast break.
Well, this whole team has interchangeable parts. They have guys who can play more than one position. So versatile. Gary Payton rejected by Reggie Williams. Sean Kemp got it. A little jump hook. Bottle tipped inside by Michael Cage. Look at Seattle getting multiple opportunities. Kemp has a block, reloads it. They still didn't get it to go. And here's Kendall Gill. And it's still being fought for. And Kemp has it blocked by Reggie Williams. Hey, what a melee that was.
Yeah, but I tell you what is so impressive about that. And it's okay. The Sonics scored, but Denver is setting the pace on the inside. They're not going to lay down, play dead here tonight. They're not going to allow the Seattle team to intimidate them, at least here in the early going.
After that, Payton hits a 3. After all of that activity, he just drives a stake in your heart with a tray from outside.
Well, give him that. That's okay. You just have to come back and respond. Now, that air ball is not going to help the Nuggets at all.
And Seattle's on a 9-0 run, and we're going to have an offensive foul on Kendall Gill, as he could not stop his forward progress. You mentioned the rebounds in game number 1. Look at this, 52-34. Mutomble's the only guy that had any rebounds at all.
Well, they had 18 offensive rebounds in that game, did the Sonics. They got about 8 on that last exchange. So that's one area that the Nuggets are simply going to have to make sure they put bodies on people, keep them off the offensive board.
So after a 6-2 lead, now 11-6 lead for the Sonics. This is very reminiscent of Thursday night when they jumped out 8-2 and then couldn't hit a shot.
Well, they went through that 5-minute stretch.
Yep. And there's Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf not going in. Boy, this is a replay of what happened Thursday. They went 5 minutes without scoring, and now here is Michael Cage chasing it down. You get the sense the Sonics are playing with a frenzy out here. They are on a mission.
Well, the real thing, though, is the fact that the Sonics are getting to every loose ball. That happened in the other game. That's where they excel. Payton picks up the foul. The Nuggets wanted the timeout.
And that's what they do. They'll run you off the floor as they come out and pick you up. Timeout, 13-6. Seattle with the lead.
Timeout, Seattle.
This shot by Payton comes after a flurry of action around the basket. It's a three-point jumper that goes down, and we talked about the importance of that point guard position. Gary Payton against Abdul-Rauf. Look what happened in the last game. Payton totally dominated. He did not allow Mahmoud to bring the ball up the floor. He totally took it out of his hands, and his shots were rushed. He shot 3 of 12 in that ball game.
And interestingly enough, he hit his first 2, then only hit 1 of his next 10. Shows you how he did take him out of that. As you see this run now, 11-0. Rodney Rogers has checked in for Denver. Denver's 2 of 10 from the field. On the other hand, Seattle 5 of 13. And they gang up on LaFonso Ellis, knocked out of bounds. It'll be Denver's ball with 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, as I watch Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf try to get over screens, Payton is all over him.
Well, is that surprising? I mean, this team is all over you, every one of them. And there's Mahmoud. He needs to get something to go. Rebound, LaFonso Ellis went up high, and he is fouled. And as George Karl said about LaFonso Ellis, he is a guy that gives them courage. He has a big heart, and they really need that tonight.
Well, they're going to need some action, but George Karl was interested in talking to him today. He said they had the worst 3 days of practice earlier this week as they've had all year. He was totally concerned coming into the ball game a couple nights ago, but it was obvious he didn't have any reason to be. These guys were ready to play.
Ellis bounces that one in. He was struggling a little bit, as was the entire team the other night. He was 6 of 9 for the field. He had 12 points and 3 rebounds. But this is the guy they feel has a big-time future, the second-year man out of Notre Dame. 13-7 as they finally got off that number 6. They were there for a long time after leading 6-2.
Gary, one thing that is really important for the Nuggets here in this ball game is to force the Sonics into their half-court offense more often. They defended the half-court game fairly well, but the problem was all the fast break baskets.
Payton looking for his second 3, and look at Ellis get up. And Ellis is fouled from behind. And the difference I see as opposed to Thursday is that they are much more athletic. Denver's getting up in the air. They're hustling. They're not near as tight as they were on Thursday night.
And they put some body on some people so far. I don't think they touched this Sonic team. They did get close for most of the night, but I don't think they touched them around the boards in that game on Thursday night.
That foul was on Kendall Gill, his second. 4th team foul against the Sonics. Denver with 2 thus far.
You see the change in offense now for
Mahmoud shows him the ball and then pulls it back down and nails one, and he needed that shot. He needed to get something going.
Yes, he did. With Mutombo out of the game, Denver trying to get Abdul-Rauf more shots.
Brian Stitt comes out of there. Nate McMillan is back, and Stitt takes him and goes in, and that was not easy because Nate McMillan led the NBA in steals this year.
Well, the real key now for this Nuggets team, they have matched the enthusiasm.
Yep.
They have come out, and they're now accepting the challenge. Dan said this team is very resilient. They usually spring back from a bad game, and they play well. He has them prepared here.
Detlef Schrempf now into the ball game. The thing that he said about that resiliency, he said we needed to go through that thing Thursday night to make the next move up the ladder. Utah in a bizarre game defeating San Antonio. That's the only word I can think of, bizarre. And then Indiana 2 up on the Orlando Magic now. And this game, of course, had a terrible fight that broke out. Eventually, Atlanta evening that series with a 104-86. And Ernie Johnson, Isaiah Thomas will update you at halftime. All the activity prior to this one. On the baseline, Brian Stitt has it stripped. Guess who that was? McMillan with long arms.
He has quickness in the feet also. Oh, great move. Great move.
Gary Payton couldn't quite finish, though. Brian Williams had it. Payton got it back. And how's that?
Second chance opportunities. We talked about the offensive rebounding of this Seattle team. That time, Brian Williams had the ball in his hands, somehow lost control of it.
Well, George Karl has given this man, Gary Payton, more and more freedom. He's matured, he's grown up, he lets him freelance, and he triggers their defense. Is away from the ball now. McMillan tangled up with Stitt. He commits the foul.
Well, watch Payton with the nice step on the baseline, and then you see Williams with the ball, but Payton with the quick hands. This is a team that gets a lot of skills, and then he shoots a little reverse.
Well, in the estimation of George Karl, the team MVP, as you see Sam Perkins coming to the ball game. Perkins on the game Thursday night. Very strong performance, 9 points and 9 rebounds. Didn't play all that many minutes. Stitt at the line. Stitt really struggled. He was 2 of 8 from the field. A guy that in his first playoff game admitted he didn't realize how intense, how frantic the playoffs are.
You know, one problem with Brian Stitt, he played in very few games last season. He is tired. He has played a lot of minutes for Denver, leading them in minutes played.
Ian Williams, who did miss a shot last night, challenged Sean Kemp, and Kemp got a piece of it. That'll be off of Rodney Rogers, so Seattle will get it back. Kemp already has 6 rebounds in the ball game.
Rogers is going to have to be physical with Sean Kemp if that is his assignment. You have to just make sure you put a body on this guy. Kemp is interesting. He is one of those guys that can play 40, 45 minutes, and by the end of the game, you feel like you're in a war. He never stops moving. Never stops moving.
In fact, Karl wants him to average 40 minutes a game. There's that rebound by McMillan. Right now, Seattle's getting a lot of opportunities at the basket. Multiple shots. Detlef Schrempf goes in. Schrempf led him in scoring Thursday night with 21 points. He was 13 of 14 from the free throw line, and he's going to be sent there again.
Well, all of this is happening because of second chance opportunities. You think back to that three-point basket that Payton nailed down, and then this shot by Detlef because of the quickness of this Sonics team.
Brian Stitt committed the foul. Robert Pack and Ricky Pierce getting ready to come in after this free throw. As Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf will come out. There's what I was talking about, the 21 points. Those free throws, the 13, second most by a Sonic in the playoff. They've had 3 other guys who were able to hit 14 in previous playoff games.
They got 52 free throws. Excuse me, 50 free throws in that ball game.
So Detlef Schrempf waits now while they do a little housekeeping around the lane, and here's 34-year-old Ricky Pierce. Pierce came in the second quarter on Thursday night and exploded for 11 points.
I thought that little stretch he was in there in the second period really blew Denver away. He came in, he knocked off 11 quick points, and before the Nuggets knew it, they were down and this game was over.
Alfonso Ellis, he runs the floor so well, and that's what concerns George Karl. They didn't even get shots like that on Thursday. They're getting more opportunities and better look. Here's Gary Payton. Payton, a leaner.
And now you have to understand that layup by Payton came off of a made basket. The Sonics beat the Nuggets back the other night on made baskets. Usually it happens on misses. That's an area they cannot afford to lose here tonight.
The old transition defense. Robert Pack, who's come into the ball game, off to Alfonso Ellis. Ellis with Perkins on him. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Now with 4. Ellis, nice, high, arching, right-handed shot, and he has 5 points.
Yeah, already a whole lot different look in the face of Ellis than the other night.
Yep, here's Ricky Pierce. Pierce not able to get a rebound. Rodney Rogers out to Pack. Pack can really leap. And the trailing Williams, and again, the Brian Stitt. And this is such a different-looking Denver Nugget basketball team tonight. They are doing some things they weren't even close to accomplishing Thursday night.
Just shows you. You give this team one shot at the basket, you're going to get opportunities to get easy shots on the other end. They didn't get many in the last game.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
We have a number 1 seed against the number 8 seed. The number 1 seed gets a home court advantage, and look how big that is. And then the home court team won the first game. That bodes well for Seattle.
Yeah, I think their chances of winning this series very good. But you've seen a totally different team. Dan Issel can even smile here in this ball game.
I guarantee he didn't smile Thursday night. He was grim and didn't enjoy it at all. In fact, he told me a couple of times he thought they were putting time back on the clock.
Well, you know, Dan said he wasn't totally surprised with what happened in that ball game. And he thought they did enough things well in that game that they could come back and make it the kind of game it's been so far.
And here's Denver coming out aggressively on defense, but that looks Shrimp with a nice left-hand touch off the glass. Shrimp now with 3 points, 20-19 in favor of the Sonics as we have 2:15 to go in this first quarter. Robert Pack, the leaper who was second Isaiah Ryder in the slam dunk competition this year at the All-Star game in the Twin Cities. And there's Brian Williams. That's the hustle that he's given him. But then Payton comes up with a steal. This team is averaging over 12 steals a game, which led the NBA. 12.8 to be exact.
Every possession. Every possession.
Perkins.
Big. You just simply cannot give the ball back to the Sonics. You don't give them extra opportunities to score.
He had 99 threes in the regular season. What an advantage to have a guy at his size, 6'9½", go out and shoot a three.
Well, it pulls your biggest guy out away from the basket. Pulls the other team's defensive center out away, and that gives the Sonics opportunities to get to the offensive board.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Williams going to have to hurry, and he didn't get it off. Shot clock is expired, and the Nuggets weren't very aware on that particular sequence. No one was yelling or motioning that the clock was running down. As an end result, Seattle will get it, and here comes Vincent Askew in the lineup. Here is a defensive stopper, a guy who has career-high numbers in every category after impressing George Carl when he played for him in Albany in the CBA. And you can see the Nuggets with 4 turnovers thus far.
Yeah, Vincent Askew has had a super season. He has been able to increase his numbers in virtually every category, and George Carl has plenty of confidence in his game, especially what he can accomplish on the defense.
A little mix-up there. The Sonics turning it over. 23-19 Seattle. 1:03 left to go now in this first quarter of play, and obviously much better first quarter. The first quarter Thursday night into 30-19 in favor of Seattle.
Well, what the Nuggets have done, they have forced the Sonics into their half-court offense often enough that they've been able to force some turnovers.
Here's Ellis trying to post up inside. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Into LaFonso. 4 seconds. Pack with a 2 from outside. Going high was Rodney Rogers, but Vincent Askew's got the rebound. Here's Pierce. Ricky Pierce. Oh, what a play.
Oh, my. Ricky Pierce threw that up there thinking he was going to get the foul, and every play like that gets this crowd louder and louder and louder, and the Nuggets had a hard time dealing with that.
And it gets hotter and hotter and hotter in here. 7-0 run right now for Seattle. Reggie Williams, 10 seconds on the shot clock, tipped up. And we talked about a better first quarter, but they're not finishing this quarter very well right now. They beat Denver. Askew is fouled by Rodney Rogers with 8.7 seconds left in this first quarter.
And that's the reason why you don't give this team extra opportunities. You'll see Ricky Pierce go to the basket here. That came off of the turnover, and every time it seems this team has taken advantage of the extra shots.
You know, they sound crazy, but they're playing much better, even though they have a real opportunity to still trail 30-19 after this first quarter.
Yeah, that's the one problem with this Denver team. You know, they're a very young team, and they can get discouraged off of a little run like we're seeing here. Dan Issel will grab his team during this break, and he will tell them, guys, this thing is not over. We just have to make sure we protect the basketball. Don't give them the extra opportunities.
Because Denver looks much better tonight, even though they're going to drop behind right now, 27-19. It's just those little surges that is all set up by the defense, the Seattle defense. They just swarm all over you. Rogers with a 3, and that's the air ball, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter of play. And here he is, the team MVP, the Sonics on a 9-0 run at the end. And Gary Payton with a strong first quarter. 7 points, 2 assists. Welcome back to the Pacific Northwest. Quarter number 2 ready to go. In that first quarter, Denver shooting only 33%. Find themselves down 27-19. Gary Bender, Goose Gibbons. Game 2. Seattle won the first one Thursday night by 24 points. Gary Payton had that strong first quarter. Askew off to Detlef Shrimp. Shrimp baseline. Tumbles back to the ball game, playing with 2 fouls that he picked up early. The turnover comes back to Denver.
Well, it's just exciting that Denver has been able to match the enthusiasm here early, and they find themselves down 27-19 here, but the effort is so much better. They can build on that. They can get better in the second half.
And if this guy could start to put it together, make a big difference. He is fouled as Sam Perkins committing the foul. Mutombo needs to get started. He started the game Thursday in foul trouble, and he's done the same thing here tonight.
Well, he's touched the ball every time down when he's on the floor in the half-court offense. For Denver, he has done a good job of getting to the basket. He has also done a good job of throwing out of the double team.
That doesn't surprise you to see graphics like that. It says 9 players have done this and that. They are so deep, that Seattle team. Brian Williams. And again, Brian Williams is playing with confidence. He's one of the guys that came in here Thursday, 6 for 6. And he has 2 points and 5 rebounds in this one. And look at him rip this one away. He and Mutombo fighting over it, and they traveled with the ball.
Well, I mean, what can you say? I mean, you have to appreciate the effort, but you also have to know your teammates. I mean, this is the playoffs. You've been together all year. Brian Williams excited after making the last basket. Watch here he is battling with Mutombo. And both of them must have had their eyes closed.
I think they had their eyes closed and their head down.
And their heads down.
That's right. Here is Sam Perkins, and Mutombo had it for a moment, and that'll be off of Roberts. And so Denver right now can't get a break, can they?
Well, no, and that's unfortunate because they are doing a lot of things very well in this game. The real problem for them is, though, the Sonics have converted on every one of those extra opportunities.
Coming back into the ball game. Well, checking in, that'll be Tom Hammonds, and checking out will be Brian Williams. But even though Williams made that mistake of battling the big center, you still like the energy.
That's the kind of effort that's going to keep you in a ball game against a team like Seattle.
Hammonds jumps out on Perkins. You've got to extend the defense on him. Ricky Pierce goes in, runs into Reggie Williams, and here's a discussion. We had a fight earlier. Boy, I'll tell you, it started, I think, early in the day in the Utah-San Antonio game. Players watch that, and I don't know in any way if it influences you, but it can't help.
Well, I think you're right, and Rodman was involved in a whole lot of that down there, and you know, guys see that, and they start to push the limit. Yep. They start to see how far the officials are going to let them go. And at this time of the year, when the games are more physical anyway, you have to be quick to blow your whistle and make sure it doesn't get out of control.
Joe Crawford, Bill Spooner, and Bennett Salvatore, the 3 referees. Let's look at it, see how it got started.
Ricky Pierce takes the ball to the basket, and Reggie Williams says he gives him a forearm to the chest, and fortunately the players jump in there. There was a technical foul. And Williams,
flagrant foul number 1 has been called against number 34, Reggie.
They're going to call a flagrant foul on Reggie Williams. A flagrant foul 1. Now, when you get 4 of those, we're going to also have a double technical foul after that play.
And I think that's good. You know, I talked to these officials right before the game, and I said, did you get a call about the action in Atlanta, the fight? Did you get a call? They said, no, we did hear about it, and we're going to call this thing close because we don't want that to happen here.
What I started to say is you can have 4 points or 4 flagrant foul points, and then you miss the next game of the playoffs, as picking up his first is Reggie Williams. And here's the second technical now by Mr. Automatic at the free throw line, Ricky Pierce, who 3rd in the NBA.
I like your jinx there.
I did jinx.
It worked again. Here's the replay. You'll get a look here. And Ricky used his elbow a little bit. That's veteran. He knows how to get to the line. He understands that. He also understands that he is playing in his building, and he is not going to be intimidated.
Well, they have a little slogan here, not in our house. The double technical going on Williams and Pierce, and flagrant foul on Reggie Williams, and Vincent Askew from outside.
You know, at that second guard spot, Askew had to improve his range. He had to become a better shooter from the outside. Worked extremely hard over the summer, the last couple of years, and he has become a pretty decent 15 to 25-foot shooter.
9-point lead now for Seattle. Williams dumps it into Mutombo. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Pack with 2, just gets it underway and got it.
That's a shot that must go for Denver. They will double up on Mutombo every time he touches the ball. The shots will be there from the outside. The Nuggets have to knock him down.
That's it to 7. 10 minutes to go in this first half of play. The Seattle team has been remarkable this year. They lost only 4 games at home in the regular season. They were 37-4. That's a franchise record. And there's Mutombo. There's the presence that he needs to give Denver. Back off to Reggie Williams. Back to Dikembe. Dikembe is fouled. And you can see why Dan Issel says this guy is who really drives us. Dikembe Mutombo, a warrior in the true sense. 7-point lead for Seattle.
The Nuggets want to try to force the action here. They are employing various defenses. Here's one in the full court here. Now, the problem is, as you stop it right here, the problem is everyone on the Sonics team can handle the ball. Now watch Detlef right here. Stith is here. Brian Williams is right here to kind of get the double team. Detlef is going to make the pass right here and then go here to this area. That's where you beat this full court pressure. He'll get a shot out of it if you roll it. Watch him make the move right to the free throw line. Look at the open place there and the trip to the basket for Detlef with the left hand.
What you have to understand, this is a good Denver team. I mean, they held teams under 100 points this year, 98.8, and they were second in field goal defense. So they were attacking a good defense and showing how well they handle the ball.
Well, it's just so difficult because there's always an outlet when you have 5 guys on the floor at all times that can handle the ball.
Right now, Denver 4 of 8 from the free throw line. They shot 72% as a team. That was a franchise low, even though Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf led the entire NBA and almost set a record. Missing a free throw on the last day and did not pass Calvin Murphy's percentage record. There's a reach in by Pack. Out it comes now to Perkins. What you're seeing tonight is Denver active, coming after him a little bit. They didn't have that Thursday night. Here is Stith with the rebound. Dikembe down. They're kind of tough on their own teammates.
They're tough on their own people.
Here's Pack. Look at his athleticism. Rebound is cleared by Sam Perkins.
Now, on these misses, they must get back and they must stop the Sonics. They get their runs because of their rebounding ability and their ability to force turnovers.
Blocked by Reggie Williams, who ran out on Detlef Shrimp.
Nice transition defense.
Reggie Williams, who has the 3 in the ball game, gets it off to Pack. Pack inside intended for Dikembe, and it's going to be off of Seattle. 15 seconds on the shot clock as John Kemp will be coming back into the ball game. Detlef Shrimp will lead.
That was a good series of transition defense here as Reggie Williams gets over, gets a piece of that shot, and that starts the fast break. The Nuggets need to make sure they find their people early.
And it comes to Mutombo, back to Pack. Pack tried to return it, and Nate McMillan always working. Nate McMillan, the first Sonic to lead the NBA in steals since Slick Watts. Remember him back in the 75 and 76.
Well, you talk about his steals, just think about his deflection.
Yep. And there is Hammonds, and Ricky Pierce, a reach around, has committed the foul.
Hey, when you're concerned at all times about a guy defensively, he has much the same effect as Mutombo has around the basket, only out on the floor. You see the field goal percentage, another area where the Nuggets doing an excellent job, and that is enabling them to keep it close.
Teams are playing hard. It isn't real artistic right now, but they are playing hard, and Mutombo with a note of finality there, as now it brings it to a 5-point game, 30-25.
Nuggets doing a good job forcing the Sonics in a half-court offense.
That almost went backward. Askew able to save it. They come out in traffic. 12 seconds on the shot clock. John Kemp, and Kemp doesn't get it. It goes over the back, and Denver will have the ball again. And Denver, what they've done, they have survived the onslaught early and now have a chance to make a ball game.
Well, they had to keep it close. And I'm thinking back right now to the series last year that the Sonics had against Utah. They came out, played much the same way in that first game against the Jazz. Kind of blew them out, not as badly as the game a couple nights ago, but the Jazz came back. They won game 2.
It's deflected. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Ryan Stith cuts in and missed it. Dikembe fighting for it. And the loose ball is going to go to Ricky Pierce. Good effort again by Denver. Just couldn't get it done.
They've got to finish those trips to the basket. They don't get many of them uncontested.
Askew, they trap him.
Look at that defense, swarming defense.
Yep. They're fighting through the picks, too. Here is Ricky Pierce, the pure shooter. Oh, is he fun to watch. I think he shoots better with a hand in his face.
I think he does. He doesn't need a whole lot of time to think about it, but if you leave him open, you might be better off.
Ricky Pierce, 2 previous seasons, led the Sonics in scoring. This year he was out a lot with injury. Last time, 17 games. He had bone spurs. He had surgery on his left foot. And there's Dikembe had it partially blocked. Reggie Williams, the captain, the oldest guy on this team at 30, tries to follow. Look at this effort. And Pierce finally gets it. What an effort by Reggie Williams and Nate McMillan.
The real problem for the Sonics, they're getting, for the Nuggets. Pat picks up the foul, I think, as he grabs Sean Kemp. The real problem for the Nuggets, they're getting to the hole. They're getting good shots at the basket. They need to complete. They need to finish off the play.
They need to finish. Ricky Pierce finishes well here. The NBA playoffs continue on TNT tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern. Portland and Houston. Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets lead that series 1-0. Ron Trubin and Dick Versace will be describing the action. Well, we talked about there's Sasquatch. Looked like one of your dates a few years ago, maybe, Jack, or mine.
It looks like some of the dunks I used to make.
Look at the shooting, though. The shooting is not that good, but the energy has been very, very good.
Well, one area I thought the Nuggets played very well in game 1 of this series was that they held the Nuggets to below 45% from the field. They have done that here. One reason is they haven't given the Nuggets the fast break opportunities that they have had. And now they're giving them just one shot at the basket.
Transition defense has been very good. That's deflected. That went off of Sam Perkins.
Dan Issel still with the quick hands over on the bench.
Yes, sir. Well, he was the all-time leading scorer for the Denver Nuggets when he retired. He was surpassed later by Alex English. Number retired, the Kentucky Gentleman.
And he is still the all-time leading scorer at the University of Kentucky.
So I'll tell you Wildcat guys stick together, don't you?
I finished 100 points behind him. I finished in second now. I'm in third place now.
And there's Reggie Williams. And Reggie Williams has missed 9 shots in a row. He hit his first shot, a three-pointer. And Marty Aronoff staying on top of the fact Reggie's had the opportunities. And there is Payton. You don't give him looks like that very often.
Well, you just can't. And the thing that Denver has to make sure they don't do is they can't afford to have mental lapses, whether it's 1 or 2 trips down or whether it's over a 2 or 3 minute period of time. They have to make sure they stay sharp on defense, find their people in the transition defense.
Biggest lead of the ball game now, 10 by Seattle. Dikembe moving on Perkins. Great effort, but again, it will not go. He worked so hard, couldn't get it over the front of the rim.
A smart play by Kemp to pull that arm back. He almost goaltended that.
Here is Sean Kemp. Kemp exploding across the middle. Reggie Williams tips it out of bounds. 11 seconds left on the shot clock, and that gives us an opportunity to remind you at the conclusion of tonight's game, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Player of the Game, and Budweiser will donate $1,000 in his behalf to the United Negro College Fund.
They are holding the Nuggets, holding the Sonics in their half-court game, forcing them to take shots like this.
And as the shot clock expired, he hit it.
But still, the pace is to the liking of the Nuggets, I think.
Well, last night they got to running on Denver and just almost ran them out of here. Even though they are down now by 12, they have slowed that down. There's LaFonso Ellis, blocked by Kemp. Dikembe Mutombo tries to follow, and this time Perkins has got it. Kendall Gill, who just checked in a moment ago. Kemp has 3 blocks in this ball game.
Well, Kemp not doing it on offense, hasn't shot the ball well, but he's still very effective.
Look at that reach in by Reggie Williams, and here's Brian Stith finishing. Reggie Williams was one of 2 players who came into here with playoff experience. He's the quiet, silent captain at 30 years of age, and he was really upset the other night. He fouled out. He played only 18 minutes in the ball game, and he's come back and played hard here.
Yeah, I like the way he's responded since picking up the technical foul. The flagrant foul against Ricky Pierce. He is not backing down at all, still playing just as aggressively as he did starting this game out.
Abdul Arup has taken only 2 shots. He's hit 1 of them. LaFonso Ellis gets that ball high, doesn't he, when he shoots it? Off it comes out of Payton. 4:05 to go in the first half, and Williams reaches in and commits a foul on Gary Payton.
Once again, You have to pick these guys up early. Now you'll see it from the rebound, and look at how the Sonics get out on the break. Perkins forces the miss by Ellis, and then watch how quickly they get down. Now you need to start picking this guy up right now. Mahmoud waited too long to pick him up, let him get to the paint, and that's too late.
They did call the foul on Mahmoud, not Reggie Williams, as Payton misses a free throw. This is the only area of Payton's game that's down a little bit from last year. Look what he had in game one. 20 points, 7 assists, 4 steals, played 34 minutes, just had an outstanding game, and tonight he's 0 for 3 from the free throw line, gets his first.
You know, I think the real difference in Payton's game is that he does not sulk. He does not criticize himself too badly after having a bad game. He responds in a positive way the next time out, and he doesn't have those streaks that he had his first year or so where he had 3 or 4 bad games in a row.
That's a 2, and that could bode well for the Nuggets if he could get started. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf now is 2 for 3 from the field, and the rebound inside by Pierce. Pierce is always doing that, isn't he? He's inside, causing problems, follows so well.
He is so smart. When you have a guy that likes to score points, you know they're going to be intelligent and finding ways to get shots at the basket. The offensive board is an excellent way to do that.
3:20 now left in this first half.
Well, you look at that score, and I'm just surprised that the Nuggets are down as much as they are here.
Well, they haven't shot well. They've played hard. They've made some things happen. They're playing with some confidence, and they're not being embarrassed. Thursday night, they were in the throes of just wanting to get this thing over with and get out of here. 40-31, 7-point lead. Biggest lead has been 12 by Seattle. Kemp backing in. Look at this. 2 big giants going after each other, and he still got it over Mutombo.
I think the real key about that play, George Karl over there, he knows he's going to need Sean Kemp to become more effective offensively. He's called his numbers 2 or 3 times.
Mahmoud is fouled as he takes it inside, and we've got a timeout. 2:44 left in this first half. Watch this play. They get it inside on the alley-oop to LaFonso Ellis.
The Supersonics. Timeout, Denver.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Lexus, the result of relentless pursuit of perfection. And by Champion. It takes a little more to make a champion.
General Manager Bernie Bickerstaff for the Denver Nuggets has a very unusual interest in this ball game. He helped develop both ball clubs. Let's start back in Seattle.
Yeah, he got this team going, and the Nuggets liked what he did so well, they brought him down there and said, hey, can you do it with us? I think one thing that he did that really was a big move is when he named, and here are the picks that the people that he has put together for the Nuggets, but he gave Dan Issel an opportunity there, and Bernie deserves a lot of credit, not only for the players that he brought to that team, but also for giving Dan the job and giving him the confidence.
Dan Issel said, Bernie, I wish you had done such a good job in Seattle. That's what he was telling us the other day. Have to play against all this talent. But he did. It was an unconventional move when he hired Dan Issel with no previous coaching experience. He'd been the TV analyst for 4 years for the Nuggets. And the Sonics showing their depth again. I mean, they just are the deepest team. They have 9 guys average over 20 minutes a game.
And George Karl has wasted no time going to the bench and giving all those guys as many minutes as necessary. He can put so many combinations on the floor.
And he keeps them pretty happy. That's pretty hard to do when you go to a 9-man rotation.
But, you know, the thing is, if you know you're going to get minutes as a player, and you know from night to night how many you're going to get, you're going to be happy.
And we have an illegal defense now, a warning against Denver. 2:27 left to go in this first half, 42-33. Denver is not shooting as well as they did in game 1, but their energy and their effort is so much superior. They're shooting 37% here. Game 1 at this stage, 41%.
But I like the shots they're getting. It's not like they're throwing up a lot of shots from way out behind the three-point line and shooting it with 2 or 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Payton gets a kind bounce, and LaFonso Ellis comes up with it. Here's Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, formerly Chris Jackson out of LSU, and they needed that shot. As Mahmoud needs to get the hot hand for this team. He could shoot him back in this one. Here comes Kemp, and he is fouled, and Mutombo's committed his 3rd foul.
The foul on number 55.
And so he'll have to come out of there. Brian Williams will check in.
Now, Dan wanted him to give a few more seconds. He probably would have gotten him out of there anyway. But once again, this fast break opportunity, and Kent handles it, knows he's going to get some contact, throws it up towards the rim, and forces foul number 3.
And Mutombo comes out. John Kent just has rare quickness for a big man. He is a force and will be for the rest of this decade. Look at that, 4 blocks already in the game. Coming up at halftime, the Reebok halftime report. Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios with Isaiah Thomas. Scores and highlights from the Jazz and Spurs, the Pacers and Magic, and a look at what they're calling the Rumble in the Omni. So the second one leaves the score at 10 in favor of the Sonics. Reggie Williams, who's 1 of 10 from the field, goes in. He's now 1 of 11.
Well, just look at how many times, though, the Nuggets are getting into the paint and getting to the basket. Those are normally high percentage shots. They will probably start to fall in the second half.
Well, it's that old Seattle swarming defense. You know they're lurking, you know they're near, and you'll change your shots in time. There's a nice pass to Payton. But Denver playing some good defense. Ryan Stiff comes out of there with it. Up to Reggie Williams. Changed the shot, and he finally got one.
But just like
and there's the steal by Alfonso Ellis, and he's going to be called for pushing off. As he went up with a left hook, he pushed off and is called for the foul.
And I think that's the proper call. But once again, the effort is there. They did not have that the other night.
43-34. Well, you have to like Alfonso Ellis. The more you're around him, grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois, very difficult area. 2 of his friends shot and killed when he was in high school. He's come out of a tough neighborhood and become an outstanding player in the NBA. And there's a 3 by Kendall Gill.
Well, they hurt you at every position. I mean, just when you think you're ready to crack them, to get something going, they'll nail a 3.
46 seconds left now in this first half. Well, Kendall Gill, in the estimation, George Karl will be better even next year. He's still adapting to the system.
Sure.
And it comes now to Brian Williams. He horses it in. So Williams coming in, replacing Mutombo, who has 3 fouls.
He plays with so much energy, and boy, that's off of a made basket.
Yep.
Off of a made basket, they're still beating the defense down the floor.
And Alfonso committing the foul on Kendall Gill. And that'll be the second on Alfonso Ellis.
I mean, you would have to think that when you make a shot, that gives your defense a chance to get back and to get set up. But the Sonics are so good and so quick at pushing the ball down the floor, they can still beat you.
Yep. You have really got to retreat in a hurry. Kendall Gill, in case you didn't know, was acquired in a trade with the Charlotte Hornets, a trade that sent Eddie Johnson, Dana Barros, in exchange of #1 picks. And Kendall Gill is the guy that has surprised even George Karl. He's telling me today he's a much better passer than he thought he was going to be.
You play the style of the people around you. You come to a team like this, and if you are a selfish player, if you hang on to the ball, you're going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Yep.
You have to make sure you adapt. He has done that. And as you say, he's going to get better. He's still learning the system here.
And I tell you, Denver's within 10. Mahmoud will take the last shot here of the first half, and they will go in at the halftime feeling a lot better about themselves than they did Thursday night. 3 seconds on the shot clock with 2, 1, and they didn't get it off in time.
Mistakes like that just really hurt.
You see the time remaining, and Dan Issel in a little bit of pain right now as
For the Supersonics, number 47.
and Kemp's coming in. Michael Cage will check out.
You're at 5.2 seconds, plenty of time for this team to get a shot.
Yeah, you're just talking about how quickly they get it up the floor.
Look who's bringing it.
Going to do it. There's the 3 by Tripp.
See, that hurts you. They have taken advantage.
And somebody threw something on the floor here. I don't know what that's doing out there. I don't know whether the players kicked it when he went by the bench or what. But we've got an ice pack and something else. I think that...
Delay a game warning. And I don't blame them for reacting like this. I mean, just think about it. You don't get a shot off, and then they come back, and it's Brian Williams that kicks
Is that who it was?
the bucket out on the floor.
Don't say kick the bucket. That is another connotation.
I don't know any other way to put that. The cooler. He kicks the cooler out on the court. And after that shot, it makes you feel like kicking the bucket.
Okay. 50-37. 13-point lead, the biggest lead of the ball game, and this is the reason. Detlef Shrimp with a three, a high arcing one-hander. Seattle is 5 of 8 from three-point land. Seattle can hurt you in so many ways. Reebok halftime report coming up. Ernie Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, stay with us.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no rules.
Well, in Game 1 of the Denver-Seattle series, the Sonics had a 25-point halftime lead. Tonight, it's 50-37. Seattle up by 13 over the Nuggets. Ernie Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, the Reebok halftime report. The Nuggets with a better showing this time around, but, well, you really got to go some to keep up with the Sonics.
Denver's playing well. They're playing much better than they played the night before. However, Seattle is just, they're on a mission. Their purpose, their focus is just far superior than anything Denver has ever seen.
Trying to take care of business and go up 2-0 in that series. Let's run down the other action today as we hit the board and we see that Utah beat San Antonio 96-84 to even that series at a game apiece. The Spurs had an 0-for-25 stretch for 16 minutes during that game. Indiana up 2-0 on Orlando, winning both of those games in Orlando. 103-101 was the final today. And in Game 1 of our TNT doubleheader, it's Atlanta tying up the series with Miami 104-86. The story in that Hawks Heat game, of course, the bench-clearing brawl in the third quarter that resulted in the ejections of Miami's Grant Long and Keith Askins and Atlanta's Doug Edwards. It came with 2:34 left in the third. Let's pick up the call of Bob Neal and Doug Collins.
Elo misses, Pharrell rebounds, and the foul. Pharrell will go to the line. Look at this. I'm telling you, it's going to get ugly, guys. Elo is on the floor, and Manning is off the bench. We have it going on right in front of our bench. There is a melee in the middle of the floor. The most significant thing thus far is Danny Manning came off the bench. Look at Kevin Locke. Boyle. Oh, man, somebody come in from behind and pop somebody. This is ugly, guys. Doug Edwards, the Atlanta Hawks rookie, came off the bench. Alvin Gentry has Grant Long right in front of our table here, trying to hold him back, and it is still not over here in Atlanta.
Well, thankfully, now it is over in Atlanta as far as that melee goes. And you heard Bob Neal talk about Danny Manning coming off the bench. A lot of guys off the bench. The league has the tapes. They will review them, and you know that it'll be fines and suspensions surely to follow after the incident in Atlanta tonight. We want to get your take on that whole thing, Isaiah. We'll do that when we come back on the Reebok Halftime Report. In Seattle, it's the Sonics by 13 at the break as the Reebok Halftime Report continues. Let's resume our discussion of this Atlanta-Miami brawl, Isaiah. Where do you lay the blame? Is it because of the playoff pressures and the intensity? Is it because officials set a tone and let things go too far? Is it somebody who's not disciplined? How do you sort it out?
Well, I think it's a combination of all those things. You know, the emotions of the playoffs, you know, you wear them on your sleeve. Your pride is at stake. You know, the whole city, everybody's looking at you. So you want to play well and you want to perform well. And emotionally, you want to be up for the challenge. I think the officials have a job. They want to make sure that these guys are allowed to play, that the fans come, you know, they see what they want to see in NBA basketball. But clearly you don't want it to go this far. And I think tonight it got a little bit out of hand.
Let's see how exactly it started with Craig Elo launching a shot from the corner. And you'll see a hard foul in here, Isaiah, and some taunting.
Well, I think the problem starts after the foul is made. You know, Pharrell makes a basket here. Grant Long comes over, makes a hard foul, no harder than what has been placed on John Sally. And then you see the finger pointing. And that's where the problem starts, when Pharrell puts his finger in his face. And then Elo comes in from behind, and he grabs Grant Long. And Long doesn't know who has him, and he takes him down. Now, that's where the problem starts, because the rest of the Miami bit sees Elo and Grant Long on the floor in a fight. In everybody else's mind, they think that, you know, Elo and Grant Long has got into it, so Steve Smith runs over, and then it goes crazy.
Yeah, they're all off the bench, and it all hits the fan. Let's spend a couple of minutes now and hear from some of the principals, starting with Dwayne Farrell.
Well, it was a shot taken, and I was able to get good position and got the rebound. And when I scored, I was just so hyper and pumped up. And the foul was kind of aggressive, I thought, and I just wanted to let them know that we're here to play and we're going to try to win this game. And things just got heated up after that.
It was pretty dangerous. You know, I don't think it got a little out of hand. I think our emotions were running very high. We started pushing, started shoving, and one thing led to another, and all the players were out on the court.
It erupted down the other end, and they had guys coming off the bench, and hey, our players have got to protect one another. They can't sit there at that time when you're sitting there and you're seeing all these guys running out there. There isn't enough people to stop it. These are big men. And so the thing was is you try and break it up. And I thought that most of the guys were trying to break it up.
When they review the film, they'll see what started early. I think Kevin Willis wanted to establish the fact that he was going to be physical with us tonight, and he was the main culprit in all the cheap shots. You know, from the beginning of the game, and that's okay. They'll see that, you know, when it's on the film. But if the referee's going to let them get away with it, then it's not a cheap shot. So we just have to do the same thing.
We should point out that our crew was at the Omni, tried to talk to Grant Long about the situation. He declined any interviews. It appears the only serious injury that came out of it occurred to Miami assistant Alvin Gentry. And let's take a look at what happened as Grant Long, you see right here, is being restrained by Gentry. We really don't know if Grant knew who had a hold of him. You'll see what happens as Gentry
He probably kicked his elo again.
Maybe, but Gentry is flipped, and apparently he has a broken arm out of this. And the next two guys you want to see, Doug Edwards and Miami's Keith Askins. This one speaks for itself. A sucker punch to the back of the head, and Edwards squares up now with Askins and cocks that right arm and unloads. It would have been referee stops contest. You know, as we said, there are going to be fines and suspensions handed out. And more than likely, we look for that kind of action to take place on Monday out of the league office. The next game in that series is Tuesday night in Miami. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Reebok Halftime Report. A reminder now on our Sunday schedule on TNT. You know, we've had doubleheaders all over the place, and it's a single game tomorrow. But first, we've got the Dream Team 2 preview at 8 o'clock Eastern here on TNT, followed by one of Isaiah's favorite things to do, another half-hour pregame show tomorrow night at 8:30. That precedes our single game, Game 2 of the Blazers-Rockets series, Houston with a 1-0 lead in that one. Again, it's been our pleasure to have you in here. Third straight night. We wrap it up tomorrow night. Happy birthday to you. It's number 33, even though I said he was 40 when we began that thing. We gave him the cake. All right, Zeke. Nice having you with us. Here on TNT tonight, the nightcap of our doubleheader, the Seattle Supersonics trying to take a 2-love lead. They're up by 13.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that on Planet Reebok, there are no limits.
The landmark Space Needle in the Emerald City, and they're going to have Go Sonics displayed there as long as the Sonics continue in the playoffs. And they lead by 13 at halftime, 50-37. I'm Gary Bender along with Goose Gibbons, and you look at this game as opposed to Thursday, the Nuggets are playing much better. They just haven't been able to shoot the ball. They can't get in the hole.
Well, you look at the number of opportunities they've had to get to the basket, and they've had higher percentage shots that they haven't been able to get to go. Now, they're doing a good job on defense. They've forced the Sonics into their half-court offense enough that they haven't been able to put together those big runs. 39%, but 63% from behind the three-point line. The Sonics with 17 points off of 7 Denver turnovers.
We're going to show you an example how frustrating it's been for Denver. The shots that they've missed at point-blank range. They've had any of these going, it'd be so much different.
Well, you just always are aware of this, the Sonic defense, and sometimes you're overly concerned, and I think that has been the case here. Look at the chances that they have right at the baskets. Stith is going to get to the hole. This is a shot that he makes, but you think Kemp is going to come over and knock the shot away, or you think someone else is going to come, you end up missing those shots.
But speaking of shooting, Payton was deadly from outside. They were 5 of 8 from three-point land in the first half.
And a couple of these three-point baskets came off of second-chance opportunities, and then you get to force a turnover here to end the game, the first half, and Detlef knocks down the three.
Well, Mutombo has quite an effect on this team, obviously. He's their warrior, and when he is out of the ball game, there's a difference of 13 points. You can see the house of Mutombo, where he says no man will fly, is really different when this big 7'2" guy's in the lineup.
Well, he can do so many things, and he changes up so many shots around the basket. You know the shots that he blocks, but the real key is how many he changes up. But the effect is happening on the other end of the floor for the Denver Nuggets. They're getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity at the hole, but because they are so concerned about the Sonic defense, Denver cannot score the basket.
Mutombo, the only guy in foul trouble at the halfway point. He has 3. So we start the second half as Seattle trying to go 2 games up on this Denver team before the series continues in Denver on Monday night. Shrimp, and that ball will be goaltending. Detlef Shrimp has played very well in this series. He had 21 points Thursday, and in this first half he had 6, hitting 2 of 4 opportunities, and now with 8 for the game.
Well, the problem is at the small forward position, he's 6'10". He's going against Reggie Williams at 6'7", an obvious advantage for Detlef.
There's a pass to Mutombo, a good catch, and he's able to hammer it in. Boy, that was a heads-up play because Mahmoud looked like he was going up for the shot, and still Mutombo was able to latch on to that one.
And we haven't talked a whole lot about Mahmoud, but you see him get screened right there, and he is just simply going to have to become a factor in this ball game. He's only had 2 shots at the basket at the half. He didn't get an opportunity to get the big numbers that they need from him. Actually, 4 shots at the basket. He's made 2 of those attempts.
And he's their leading scorer, averaging 18 points a game. He had only 7 points. In fact, the starting guards had 11 points in that game Thursday between Stiff and this guy. There's a 3. Nope, they're going to call it a 2.
Well, that's okay. It went down. That's something to build on.
Boy, it is. And did he get that one off in a hurry? 54-41. Kemp backing on Mutombo. He's got to be careful of those 3 fouls. Gary Payton distributes the ball so very well. 13 seconds on the shot clock.
I think 3 seconds.
3-second violation.
You know, we were talking about how poorly Denver's guards played in that first game. Look at this. Mahmoud was 3 of 12, 8 of 30 combined.
Well, that's only 20 shots out of this group, and with Abdurraouf and with Stiff, a lot of games you get at least 20 from those 2. So, excuse me, Mahmoud, you only get 20 from those guys. Oh, you normally get more than 20 over the course of a game.
So Stiff is averaging over 12. Here is Mahmoud trying to get this one. Follow tip, and that was a beautiful job by LaFonso Ellis, who came across the paint and followed beautifully. 54-43, just underway in the second half. Biggest lead of the ball game, 13, and that was at the halfway point by the Sonics. And baseline is Kemp, and LaFonso Ellis has committed the foul.
Foul is on number 20, LaFonso Ellis.
Effective around the basket.
First team foul of the quarter.
You get the miss here, but this is an opportunity to find yourself 2 easy ones. Just a nice effort there by Ellis.
That was the 3rd foul on LaFonso Ellis. Kendall Gill from outside, and they're hitting the boards pretty well. Reggie Williams comes down the run. Williams needs to get started. He was 2 of 12 shooting in the first half. Hit his first shot and then really struggled after that. Here's Mahmoud again. He's flashing across the middle, and there's LaFonso again trying to follow tip. Shrimp saves it in. Look at that spin move by Payton. So good vision-wise. They reach in, bat it away. They're on the floor, and we're going to have a jump ball.
I think what happened is,
by the way, Reggie Williams getting up a little slow. He may have hit his head on the camera or somebody over there as he went for the steal, and he's still a little groggy.
Yeah, he's getting up. He's going to ask to come out of the ball game. Also makes a pretty good defensive play, but goes down hard. Runs into one of the cameramen and holding the back of his head. They're going to take a 20-second timeout to check and make sure he's okay. You'll see it better from this angle.
Tonight's attendance.
There he is. He kind of disappears behind that little dog pile. So we will have a jump ball when we come back, and as you mentioned, a 20-second timeout.
20-second timeout, but the problem on that play is that Stiff, when he went down on the floor and he got the ball, his foot was on the line. He was over the line, so instead of having a jump ball, the Sonics will try to take advantage of yet another opportunity off the offensive boards.
Well, we've said this a couple of times. As you look at this ball game, Denver is really getting some building blocks here. Even though they're having a tough time trying to overhaul the Seattle team, there's been vast improvement. See, it looks like Reggie's still a little bit of pain there in the bench area. There's some vast improvement from game 1. And that's off the glass. Kendall Gill.
Well, this is not Denver's year. I think Dan Issel understands that. I think Bernie Bickerstaff understands that. He's going to use this as an opportunity to grow. This team will get better.
Michael Cage picks up a foul away from the ball. They'll take it out of bounds. That's the second foul on Cage. Cage, for the 5th straight year, played in all 82 games. 411 straight. That's the 4th longest streak right now in the NBA. And he's playing for a new contract. 9:21 to go, third quarter, 56-43, Seattle. Stiff to Mahmoud. Payton is up and commits a foul. Mahmoud is really working hard now, trying to get off the picks and get an open shot.
He does this time, and I'm really surprised. Normally, when he hears the whistle, he will throw it up towards the rim. This time, he makes the pass, so he won't get to the free throw line. But he is working harder. He is trying to use the screens along the baseline more, and he's getting more shots in the basket. That's an improvement.
Rodney Rogers gets it to Mutombo. Rodney Rogers, who hit a 3 on Thursday night, rebound by Ellis. Ellis very active in this game.
There's that screen right there.
And not there. Ellis again with the rebound. And the putback.
Yeah, you're going to be rewarded. When you play that aggressively, you make good things happen for yourself.
56-45. Ellis with 11 points and 8 rebounds in this game. See why they're so excited about this second-year man from Notre Dame. Here is Kendall Gill from outside. And Stiff went across, tried to come up with it. I think Shrimp touched it last. He did. It'll be Denver's basketball. Mahmoud now trying to force the issue off to Brian Stiff.
Another good use of the screen by Mahmoud. He finds a way here once again to get open.
And all of a sudden now, their leading scorer is starting to heat up. He's 4 for 9 tonight. It's a 56-47 game. And look at the rebounds after being destroyed on the boards Thursday night. Denver fighting back. That's blocked by Mutombo. That's his second block of the night.
Well, he's so good at reading the moves to the basket. Comes over from the weak side, covers a lot of ground. Now he's out of the paint on the other side right now when this all starts, but comes over, knows Kemp's going to try to get going on offense, gets all ball.
Average 4.1 blocks, 336 of them this year in the regular season. Kemp from the corner. Rebound Mutombo. Denver now with a little push, a little surge. Up it comes to Rodney Rogers, and he's fouled as he comes across the paint. And Dan Issel's excited. He's up applauding his troops. He feels now that his team is starting to put the pieces together a little bit.
Well, you look at the little things that are happening right now. Mutombo, he's doing a good job. He's altered 3 shots. He's blocked a couple. But you look at the little things like forcing some turnovers now, which gives them opportunities on the fast break. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, he's more aggressive coming off of screens. And then the other thing that I think is most important is they're giving the Sonics one shot at the basket right now every time down, forcing misses.
Here's their #1 draft pick this year out of Wake Forest. A guy who late in the season really carried him down the stretch in some games. He played extremely well.
I think he had trouble early finding his place with this team. He was playing a whole lot out on the floor, shooting primarily perimeter shots. Later in the season, he started to use that big body to get to the basket and he got to the free throw line a whole lot more because of that.
When's the last time we were able to say the Nuggets are on a run? They're on a 10-2 run. It's always been Seattle in this series, but they're on a 10-2 run and seemingly have settled in. A little of that anxiety has subsided as Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf has committed his 3rd foul.
The tempo is much more to the liking of the Nuggets. And you see his reaction. Thought he made a good play there, stripping the ball away from Devlin.
That'll send Shrimp to the line. As we mentioned, he was a busy man Thursday night. 13 of 14 from the stripe.
That's a real good indication right there of the problems the Nuggets have matching up against this guy at 6'10" at the small forward position.
Yeah, he's so versatile. He can take you inside, move outside, but that's the whole story of Seattle. They have all those guys who are multi-dimensional. It's 58-49, 7:42 to go in the 3rd. Mutombo has a double on him. They swing it around. Rogers with a 3.
Yes.
And that's what surprised Dan Issel, how well this guy can shoot from long distance.
Well, he knew he had range.
And there is a good effort, but it's going to go over to Seattle as Brian Stiff trying to come up with it. They'll have it with 21 seconds on the shot clock. 7:27 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, he just didn't know that Rodney Rogers could step out and could knock down the shots from behind the three-point line as consistently as he has. Got 9 points, three-point baskets in about 8 seconds against the Utah Jazz in a game that they still ended up losing by 1 point.
Now, that's what Issel said. They forget to remind you they still lost that ball game. Here is Payton with a three. And Mutombo had it taken away by Michael Cage. That's the reason he led the NBA in rebounding one year, 87-88. And that's his tenacity inside.
And that's also the reason why the Sonics start him at 6'9" at the center position.
Sonics getting a lot of opportunities, but they still don't get the ball in the hole. Here's Rodney Rogers. Rogers, baseline to Brian Stitt.
Good job. Bring it back. Make sure you get a good shot. I mean, every possession against this Sonic team is very, very important.
Now they extend that defense, and they come chasing out after you. When you pull up the dribble, look out. Here's Ellis, and three. Sonics are there, and they almost lost it. Kemp saves it. 58-52 in favor of the Sonics. Out it comes the Shrimp. He had a notion at a three. Now goes in against Rodney Rogers. Tried to draw the foul. Here it comes to Stiff. Stripped by Sean Kemp. Kemp will come back 3-on-1.
Boy. Sean Kemp, 6'10". Makes the right decision on the fast break.
Well, you know, he averaged 1.8 steals a game. That's pretty good for a guy that size. He has 5 assists also in this ball game tonight. 60-52. Rodney Rogers had it stripped. Here comes Cage again. And DeGill and their defense, and that will be a foul on Brian Stitt. Their defense has pivoted this game back again.
That's the key. You have to stay sharp on offense. You have to stay sharp on defense. Now watch Kemp leading the fast break, and watch the decision here, and avoids the charge.
Sonics up by 8, 5:48 left, and it's interesting how these numbers are starting to even. We talked about rebounds earlier. Look now at the turnovers as Denver's struggling back into this series.
Have to keep these things close. I mean, the turnovers, the Nuggets protecting the ball, not being as intimidated by the Sonics defense out on the floor. And a key matchup, we talked about it already a few times in this ball game. Payton against Abdul Rauf, and he is holding his own right now.
Yep, Abdul Rauf, especially in the second half, has started to come alive as Kendall Gill at the free throw line. So they head it to 58-52, and the Sonics cranked up that defense another click or two and got it started back the other direction again. A team that this year averaged forcing over 20 turnovers a game and almost 13 steals. The SOS pressure defense, as they like to call it. Pretty good spacing by Denver, moving it around.
I think you're right, and not holding the ball. Sharp passing.
And Dikembe doesn't get the bounce, but he's got the foul.
You know, the Sonics, with that pressure defense, they try to force you to do a couple things. They try to force you to hang on to the dribble.
There's their defensive guru, Bob Kloppenberg, but he doesn't look like he's enjoying this very much right now.
Not very much. But they try to make you to hold on to the dribble a little bit more, put the ball on the floor a lot. They can come over from the weak side through his defensive philosophy. The other thing they try to get you to do against their defense is to throw the longer passes, and they have great anticipation on the weak side, and that leads to a lot of turnovers.
When you aren't as nervous and uptight, you can do some things that they were not able to do Thursday. That foul, by the way, going on Michael Cage is his third. The third team foul against Denver. Seattle has 4. As Kemp comes down with the miss as Mutombo gets 1 of 2. 62-53. 5:27 to go in the third. Kemp, Mutombo trying to track him. Out it comes to Kendall Gill. Gill double team, drives right down the baseline. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Payton doesn't get it. Out it comes to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Inside. Brian Stitt couldn't get it. Well, you got to get back, and Denver's doing it very nicely as they jump back. Up it comes to Kemp. Kemp out to Detlef Shrimp.
Not giving nearly as many fast break baskets.
Kendall Gill from outside. And Rodney Rogers, that big NBA body that he has, comes out of there with it. He's going to be the real deal, according to Dan Issel, as he gets more and more experience. He's going to try another three. Nice looking left-handed shot.
Boy, the tempo is just what the Nuggets needed here in this ballgame.
62-56, and a crowd getting a little anxious here at the Seattle Center Coliseum. Trent driving in, and rebound by Michael Cage. He is so strong. He just ripped it out of there. That's his 6th of the night. Kemp inside. The Cage. He lost the handle. 15 seconds on the shot clock. They're everywhere right now.
About as confused as I've seen them on offense, but still Payton with the high shot off the back.
They may be confused. Boy, is their energy level there. They're just flying everywhere.
Well, they're just so quick.
Yep. Payton with 15 points. Mahmoud tries to answer at the other end. Kemp with the rebound.
They can correct mistakes because of their quickness.
Baseline it goes to Payton. Rebound, Kemp. Kemp tries a left hand. Mutombo just rejected it. Out it comes to Mahmoud. 2-on-1. And to Rogers, nice catch. That was not an easy play for Rodney Rogers.
It was not an easy pass as well.
They're within 6, 64-58. What a difference tonight is as far as Denver fans and players are concerned. 10 points for Rodney Rogers, and all of them have come in this quarter. They double on Trent, Kendall Gill, and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf reaching in, commits a foul. Let's go back to the rebound by Kemp, and as they say, not in the house of Mutombo.
Not here, young fella, and you'll see Dikembe right here on the block. Now, Kemp working the offensive boards, which he does so well, but the help from the weak side, that's where this guy excels, reads the floor very well.
Kemp, by the way, is 3 of 13, and Mutombo has blocked 3 of them and altered 4 other shots. So that's an interesting combination there. And let's take a look at tonight's action. The GMC Truck Scoreboard. Utah over San Antonio. That series now even at 1, and they'll go at it again Tuesday in Salt Lake City. And Orlando down 2 games, and Atlanta evened that one with Miami. Look at that. Cycli got in some foul trouble, but did not score in that ball game. 65-58. 3 minutes left in the third. Rodney Rogers, now Nate McMillan has picked him up defensively. He's come off the bench.
Funny how that works, huh? You get a guy hot.
Yep, bring in the stopper, right?
Bring in McMillan.
Here's Rodney Rogers. Nice pass. A tempo, and he's fouled.
Well, if they could finish some of those shots at the hole.
We've got a timeout. 2:46 left to go. Denver hanging around here. Down by 7.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by GMC Truck, the strength of experience, and by Dutch Boy. Give your home the look that lasts.
Sonics 65, the Nuggets 58, 2:46 to go in the third. Payton Place, Seattle Center Coliseum, and not in our house. And this house is going to be renovated. They're going to spend $74 million starting in June after the playoffs end. And they will have the floor lowered 35 feet. They'll have a capacity of 17,500. You see the architectural rendering. They will play in the Tacoma Dome next season. They have plans to have this completed by October of '95.
And what a time to expand the seating. You come off your first season where you have sold out all 41 ball games here in the Coliseum. So a good time, a very exciting time here in Seattle. They know they can sell more seats to demand just tremendous for tickets.
In this third quarter, Denver is shooting 50% from the field. Seattle 29%. They're 5 of 17. That's the reason they've gotten back in it. Now look what Dikembe did on Thursday. They got in a lot of foul trouble, 12 points and 9 rebounds. He only played in that ball game 29 minutes. Tonight, a different story. He has 9 points now, 2 rebounds, 3 blocks, and as we mentioned earlier, he had 4 altered shots. And here's Perkins.
3 of 8 from the free throw line.
Rebound is cleared by Rodney Rogers. Robert Pack on the move. He up-tempos his team. There's a little jump hook, and that was not really very well done. It rushed a little bit. Off it comes to Nate McMillan. 2:25 left in the third. Kendall Gill got to get out on him, and Gill can't hit it. And blocked by Mutombo, and they still get it.
Kemp over the back that time with a nice tip. Oh, you just can't afford to relax. You saw Kendall Gill wide open. He has been knocking that shot down tonight. They got a break, but they didn't come down with the rebound.
Gill tonight is 3 of 10 from the field. Up it comes now to LaFonso Ellis. 67-59, less than 2 to go in the third. Pack off to LaFonso Ellis. Good looking shot, doesn't go though. Kendall Gill, those long arms, comes down to the rebound. John Kemp stumbles and falls right in front of us. Looks like he's going to be okay. Fell over his own feet. He tries to duck in. Good defense that time by Rogers. Both of them go down, and Perkins hits the three. Timeout. As Denver see this slip away again. 70-59, a minute 31 in the third.
Well, just when you think you're right there, you lose your concentration for just a couple trips, and the Sonics make you pay for it. Shot selection very important for the Nuggets, and then finding the people in this transition game. Kemp with the pass out to Perkins. He has been spotting up behind the three-point line, and the fans like it here in Seattle.
And Seattle has been very effective at the three-point range. They have hit 50% of their trays, 6 of 12 tonight. And Sam Perkins, the only center in the NBA to lead a team in three-point shooting.
Well, because he has been able to play around the fringe, he's extended his career, I think, maybe 2, 3, 4 more years.
Well, they'd like to get the brooms out, but it hasn't been as easy tonight after that 24-point shellacking they handed Denver on Thursday night.
Well, the real important thing here, I think, is for the Nuggets. As you look at the three-point field goals, they have played well enough that they know they can play against this team. It'll be a different story.
Here's another three, and so that's the 4th three of the night for Denver, and Rodney Rogers has kept them close, shooting well from outside. He has scored all his points in this third quarter, and it's 70-62. 13 points in the third stanza. Coming into the ball game now is Vincent Askew, number 17. Reggie Williams is also in, and he fronted Sam Perkins and reached around, and they're going to call him for a foul.
Too many mismatches, too many size advantages as the Nuggets try to find a way to match up against the Sonics.
Here comes Ricky Pearson, and the thing that you're saying is that they have so much depth, they can send so many different combinations at you. It's like sending waves off the bench.
Yep.
As Perkins is one of those guys who has had such a remarkable year. He started 41 games and then has been coming off the bench. And he's a blender. He's a guy who just adjusts his game to wherever he is. You can see how effective he's been in the career playoffs. 15.5 points. Seattle, by the way, is only 14 of 24 from the free throw line tonight. 8-point ball game. Perkins now gives them a 9-point lead. Robert Pack's seen a lot of action, handling the ball, trying to somehow survive scrapping defense. Here they come after him again.
Well, he comes in when they need a surge of energy. Pack is very explosive, very aggressive player.
7 seconds on the shot clock. Pack threw that one away. Askew can't save it, though. George Karl tried to help him over there, and Karl and John Kemp talking to each other. As they'll have 3 seconds on the shot clock, the inbound, 33.5 left in the third quarter. There's George. He said at the start of preseason that the Sonics would win a national championship or world championship in the next 2 years. Going to be this year. And there's the ball strip. Nate McMillan coming up with it.
I told you about this defense that the Sonics like to play. They like to let you dribble the ball all you want because they feel with their quickness, their hand speed, they can find a way to pick your pockets.
And Ricky Pierce is fouled. Yeah, the one thing you can't do is try to dribble against that trap. You got to space it, you got to pass it. They want you to try to split those two defenders and make a great play.
Yeah, they just want you to dribble. They want you, they play the passing lanes, they force you to put the ball on the floor, and as soon as you do that, they come from the weak side and they have it going the other way.
Third foul on Rodney Rogers. There's that defensive guru, Bob Poppenberg, who He's been around for a long time here in the Seattle area. What does that card mean?
Well, I tried to get George to give us some information on these cards, but he guards that just like Fort Knox. He doesn't want anybody to know those secrets.
By the way, Ricky Pierce has missed 2 free throws. That's a major story here. He is 1 of 3. He's 6th all-time in free throw percentage. And coming into this playoff, he was 3rd in the NBA. He has one time hit 75 straight free throws. 72-62. Last seconds of the 3rd quarter. That was partially blocked by McMillan. You're going to have to hurry. Reggie Williams with a 3. And the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Rodney Rogers with a powerful 3rd quarter. His team still trailing by 10, but Rogers with 13 in the 3rd quarter as Denver still in this ball game as opposed to Thursday night. Seattle Center Coliseum. It's warm. It's always warm here. They don't have air conditioning, and if you have any kind of heat outside, it's with the bodies and the intensity of the play, you really know you've been in a pressure cooker here. In the rebounding department, Denver has been hanging tough. They were just totally dominated Thursday night. Look at that, 52-34, and look at this difference.
Now, 39-34 is the story here tonight. They gave up a lot of second chance opportunities in that first game. 18 offensive rebounds they gave up to the Sonics, and they converted on most of those. They've been able to limit them in second chance opportunities here in this ball game.
The other thing that's interesting, both teams are shooting 40% from the field, and both teams are shooting 59% from the free throw line, and there's Pierce inadvertently tripping up Reggie Williams as he commits a foul from behind. You figure if Denver could hang tough here for another 6 minutes and be in a position to make a move, what a comeback it would be from game 1 for them.
Well, they're still working on confidence. They're still wanting to make sure that they prove themselves that they can play against his team. Now, if they allow them to put a run together and get this lead up to 20, 25 points, which the Sonics can do very quickly, they're going to have a hard time in game 3.
Rogers with another 3 from outside. He came up with a brilliant 3rd quarter of 13 points. He is 4 of 4 from three-point land.
5 of 8 from behind the three-point line as Denver, 6 of 12 the Sonics.
Away from the ball now. We're going to have a foul as Robert Pack was tangled up with Nate McMillan. So Pack commits a foul, and Detlef Shrimp will come back at the ball game now for Seattle.
Another one of those matchup problems I'm talking about, and that forces you to make a decision as to whether you're going to let them have the shot or you're going to foul.
Yep. Well, remember now, this Denver team was last in three-point percentage, 29%. And look at this, 5 of 8, and we mentioned Rodney Rogers has hit all 4 of his.
Rogers has had a good season from behind the three-point line.
Out comes the Detlef Shrimp. He just waited for Perkins to get the ball, and Perkins, who's so wise, came across, located him, and it's 74-65.
Find the open place on the floor, and you're going to get a shot with Seattle team.
The thing about Seattle, you can play them very even, and all of a sudden, boy, they can just blitz you with both offense and defense. That's what Denver has to avoid. Dikembe on a pass from Brian Williams, and he's fouled, and now a little discussion going on between Detlef Shrimp and Dikembe Mutombo.
And once again, I think you have to nail both guys with the technical, because it's this taunting and this talking back and forth that gets the adrenaline flowing, and then you now have a real serious situation. I just think the officials have to make a statement here for the rest of these playoffs.
That was on number 17, Vincent Askew.
It's a foul on Askew. We had a double technical earlier, you might recall.
Yeah, there was a double technical, and there's the foul right there.
Foul has been called on Denver's number 55.
And they have a technical foul on Dikembe Mutombo.
I don't know. I think you just have to nail both guys in a situation like that. You can't really punish one team. Just, you know, and it was contact on the play, both guys having words with each other. I think these officials, after what happened in Atlanta today, just simply have to make the statement.
Well, let's go back and try to reconstruct this.
Well, Askew's going to come over. He's going to give the playoff type foul. Mutombo doesn't like it. Words exchanged. Now, on that replay, Askew does a great job of keeping his composure. He stays out of it, so that's maybe the reason why the technical foul went only one way against Mutombo.
Well, Dan was not happy about it. Mutombo now will shoot after he was fouled by Askew a moment ago. Mutombo from the line is 3 of 8. He has 9 points tonight.
Now that's where to speak the loudest. Step up there and knock down the free throws.
You know, when you're 7'2" and you retaliate in any way, verbally or any other way, you just can't hide out there. I mean, there can't be subtle, you know what?
Yeah, exactly.
He's all arms and legs. And you love this guy's attitude. He wants to win.
He does.
75-67, 10:45 left in the game. Millen coming it into Perkins. Perkins backing in on Brian Williams. Pack almost had the ball. Askew doesn't get the roll. Nice follow.
Yeah,
followed his own shot.
Followed his shot. And it's interesting now, the Sonics have gone from having Perkins out around the three-point line to posting him up. They want now to take advantage of his passing ability. They know the Nuggets have to come with the double team.
Reggie Williams has had a very poor shooting night. Misses again. He is 2 of 13. Pierce is fouled as Pack comes back and commits the foul. That'll send Ricky Pierce to the line. Okay, upcoming games on TNT tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Eastern. The Trailblazers and Rockets. As the Rockets leading that series 1-0. And Clyde Drexler's talking about the fact he thought that one slipped away from him the other night. And then stay tuned to TNT for Inside the NBA. Fred Hickman. He'll run through today's scores and highlights as well as take a look at tomorrow's playoff action. Inside the NBA with Mr. Hickman coming up next. Well, Pierce is really struggling for the line. When's the last time he's done that? He is 3 of 6 tonight.
What is going on in this game for Ricky to miss 3? You jinxed him one time. You said how good he is from the free throw line. But these other two, I don't know what is that.
You know, the leading free throw shooter in the NBA has not been there tonight. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf has not been there for a long time. He had his first 2 earlier. Seattle now is 18 of 30. They have 60% from the line.
Big trip down the floor for Denver. I mean, you don't score here, you give the Sonics a basket on the other end. Now you're looking at a crowd that's going to be very loud, and you're going to have to find a way in tough situation to get back in the game.
Robert Pack with the open shot. He and Mutombo, the nice 2-man game there. It's 78-69. Robert Pack going for the steal on McMillan.
That Nate's cool.
Isn't he, though?
He just hangs right in there. Pack, a very good defensive player.
Now there's Perkins and Williams going after each other. Askew with a 3. And Perkins has it tipped outside. Off to Rodney Rogers, 3-on-2. Rogers or Reggie Williams. He finishes.
Nice.
Give credit to Rodney Rogers. Doing a good job of filling the middle of that break. Out it comes Askew and almost thrown away as Perkins able to save it. 9:14 left in the ball game. 7-point lead for Seattle. Askew ducks in. And he's having some of the same problems Denver had earlier, missing those little shots inside.
Well, give Mutombo credit once again. He altered yet another shot.
Askew is 2 of 7 from the field now. 6 altered shots by this guy, Dikembe Mutombo. Here's Pack. Outside it comes to Rogers. 7 seconds on the shot clock. A leaner. Rebound by Perkins. They got to get back. That's one of the few times they haven't gotten back defensively, and Detlef Schrempf makes them pay for it. Rodney Rogers commits a foul. We've got a timeout. 78-71, Seattle. Here's tonight's Dutch boy in the paint, and the Nuggets leading with points in the paint.
Well, they're going to Dikembe a lot, although he has just 11 of those 28 points, but still, everything going well so far in this game for the Nuggets. Rebound total, Kemp with 11, Mutombo with just 2.
Well, John Kemp is a complete basketball player, and we're going to show you one of the things that impresses you so much about the 6'10" forward.
Well, he comes up with the steal, gets over 2 of those a game, and then watch the decision here on the break. Lays it off. He plays off the emotion of this crowd. He is sitting right now, but he will be back in this game and be effective before it's over.
He has game highs and rebounds and assists. 11 rebounds and 5 assists. He looked like a point guard there, didn't he?
Yes,
the way he
did.
wheeled in that no-look pass. Denver really needs better shooting from both Abdul Rauf and Reggie Williams. Mahmoud is 4 of 10. Reggie Williams is 3 of 14. That won't get it done if you're going to beat the team that has the best record in the NBA.
Hard for him to win if those two guys are 7 of 24 from the field.
Detlef Schrempf to the free throw line.
Detlef Schrempf going to the line. He is 3 of 4 from the stripe. Man who came over as an exchange student from West Germany, went to high school here in the Seattle area, played for the Washington Huskies, and this year traded back. And one of the 2 heists that everybody talks about, Kendall Gill being the other. What trades they were by the Seattle franchise.
Tremendous offseason acquisitions there.
80-71. Robert Pack running the team now with 8:30 left in the ball game.
It's amazing how they've been able to do it here in Seattle and stay within the confines of the salary cap.
Yeah, they're going to have at least the 11th pick in the first round this year. There's a shot by Betembi, and Brian Williams, a good effort, just couldn't get it funneled in.
Yeah, they're going to get even better. They'll get a lottery pick again.
Perkins with 9 rebounds in the ball game. LaFonso Ellis getting ready to come in now. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Out to Ricky Pierce. Kicks it to Nate McMillan. McMillan with a 3. Dikembe with a rebound. That's his 3rd of the ball game. Within 9, Pack trying to cut it with a pass to Brian Williams and a foul by Detlef Schrempf.
Pack gives the Sonics some of their own medicine. He has the ability to push the ball up the floor. He's leading this team in assists off the bench and is always looking up the floor. Ellis, you see him checking back into the ball game. And here's Pack. He can push the ball up the floor as quickly as anyone out there. And then he finds Brian Williams with a nice pass.
Robert Pack this year started 4 ball games. He signed late. He had a contract dispute, missed the first 13 games, but he energizes his team. You saw that very good pass. Then it comes to LaFonso Ellis, as you mentioned. He just checked in. 7.5 minutes left in the game. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Pack, look at the way he can get up in the air. Nate McMillan to the rebound. Here they come. Nuggets hustling back, but Trent beat him back. You could see that one developing. The Nuggets saw it coming, and they just couldn't get down the floor fast enough to stop it.
Well, when you have confidence in your rebounders, if you're a Detlef Schrempf, or if you're Vincent Askew, when you have confidence, or Ricky Pierce in this case, you can afford to leave out. Now look at Pierce. He sprints out knowing that his other teammates will get the rebound. Detlef comes on the other side.
So Detlef is back to the line again. He's 5 of 6. He's missed 2 thus far in this 2-game series that we've had. 13 of 14 on Thursday night. Again, Seattle's struggling from the free throw line. I mean,
not a clinic from the line by either team.
Nope.
But still, they're getting a lot more opportunities from the line than is Denver.
Same thing happened Thursday night. Right. 10-point lead again now for the Sonics. Look how they extend the defense. You almost run out of any room to operate.
Well, you do, and they're forcing the longer passes, and that's where the Sonics take advantage of it.
Robert Pack off it goes to Reggie Williams. He needs a shot to go. He will not. You believe that? Reggie Williams now is 3 of 15 tonight. McMillan out to Ricky Pierce. Look at the rainbow. Isn't that something? The way he arced that one up. And timeout by Denver. And Seattle with a 12-point lead, 6:52 to go.
Headline News Sports Ticker updates basketball, so you'll always know the score.
Seattle has so many weapons, and it shows here the balanced attack. They can come at you from so many different directions.
It's just so nice when you don't have to have a big game from offensively from any one particular player. Look at Kemp way down there with just 10 points, but you have 5 guys in double figures. Vincent Askew with the night leads the offense, and Pierce finds so many ways to score. You have to go out and plan for the jump shot. And he puts the ball on the floor and gets the basket there.
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf has come in. He was on the bench for a long time. Dikembe having trouble and goes to the floor to save it.
Well, Dan kind of drops his head over there on the bench because he doesn't want to burn another timeout here.
But he did.
And they will take the 20-second timeout and not the full timeout.
You know, we're talking about Abdul Rauf. He's played only 23 minutes in this ball game, as Pack's seen a lot of the action in this second half of play at the point.
Well, see, normally what happens when Pack is having the kind of game he's having running the show, they will bring Abdul Rauf on the floor also. But the Sonics are so big at the guard position, they can't afford to do that in this game.
So here's the timeout called by Dikembe as he goes down, knows he's in trouble, gets the timeout. And so they will burn their 22nd timeout. We have 6:39 left in this ball game.
Well, you know, we've mentioned here that while the Nuggets have played very well in this ball game, doing a good job of keeping it close and not getting blown out, for this Seattle team, it doesn't take a lot of time for them to run off a string of points and to build a lead. Now, the Nuggets right now are working on confidence for their next game. It's very difficult for them to win here, but should they get blown out by 20-24 again as they did last game, it's going to be very difficult for them to build off of that.
Yeah, they fought the good fight here with 6:39 left, and they don't want one of these games to get away from them. In this quarter, by the way, Denver is only 3 of 9 from the field and shooting only 39% for the game, and I cannot tell you how many point-blank short shots they've missed in this game. If they got any of those at all, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf is 4 of 10. He has 10 points. Let's check now the timeout situation as we go down the stretch.
For Seattle,
Nuggets have only 1 timeout remaining. Sonics have 4 full, a 20, and also a foul to give. So Mahmoud is in at the guard. Ellis, Reggie Williams, Dikembe, along with Rodney Rogers. And there's the defense again. Sean Kemp. Up it comes to Askew. Everything is triggered by their defense. They just absolutely turn this game around time and time again with their outstanding defensive play. Ricky Pierce. 6 seconds on the shot clock. McMillan with a 2. Nope, now they say it's a 3. Bill Spooner was looking for help on that one, and when the official said it's a 3.
Guess where he got the help? George Karl over on the sideline had his arm straight up in the air, and he wanted it to be a 3.
Rodney Rogers, who's been deadly from outside. Mahmoud with Pierce on him, a leaner, and he gets a foul from Ricky Pierce.
Foul number 22.
And coming back into the game now is going to be Brian Stiff. Rodney Rogers will come out of the ball game.
Rodney gave him a huge lift, making the 3-point shots. They need some quickness in there. They're going to try to pick up the pressure on defense at the guard spots, and that's why that change was made.
Much better performance by the rookie, as he was 1 of 3 for 3 points Thursday night and hit all 4 of his threes here tonight. Mahmoud, the leading free throw shooter. He shot this year .956. which is not the record. Calvin Murphy had .958. He missed 10 free throws all year, and that last miss in Houston with Calvin Murphy courtside cost him the record of all time in the NBA. He is 4 of 4 from the line tonight.
And they are still talking about Murphy
Murphy
handling the basketball before he shot those free throws and stepped out and missed that shot.
Here's McMillan swinging around. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Shrimp, look at this. Got in a little bit of trouble. Hung up in midair and didn't get a good look at that one at all.
Well, they wanted to draw the foul. No contact.
86-73. 5:24 left in the game. Brian Stiff followed by Pierce. Mahmoud going to try one.
No, touch there.
That wasn't a touchdown.
And watch the easy basket on the other side, or easy attempt.
And Askew off to Pierce. Pierce will bring it back out as we approach 5 minutes left in the game. Back to Pierce from Askew. Kemp, and Kemp following over the back. Who's the foul on? It's not on Kemp, I guess.
No, it's on Mutombo. What happened is Kemp was up so quickly that he caught Mutombo off guard here. And he grabs the arm as Kemp tried to get the tip to go.
Kemp at the free throw line. Shooting.
Yep, there it is.
Right there.
That's
so
the 4th foul on Dikembe. So Sean Kemp will go to the line. He has 10 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. What other statistical category can you name?
You know, it just shows you that this guy doesn't have to score a bunch of points to be effective. He just keeps coming at you. Hasn't played a lot of minutes in this game.
John Kemp makes it an 87-73 game. 5 minutes left. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is 4 of 11 shooting in this ball game. Reggie Williams 3 of 15. Neither one of those guys able to find the mark. Stiff is 3 of 8. So the guards have not shot well. Mahmoud trying to make the change here and hits the 3.
For 3 points. 3 points after
When you're a shooter, you have to keep putting it up. So what if I have missed 6 or 7 straight? I'm making the next one. And he did that time. That's his attitude.
Well, no conscience. All those shooters, the next one's going in, right? You were one of those, I know.
I tried to be, but I'm still waiting for that next one. Still waiting for it.
Denver 6 of 10 now for three-point land tonight. And Payton had to have his teammate bail him out, Ricky Pierce, and it's going to be off of Denver. 4:13 left now, and we're going to have a timeout called by Seattle as Rodney Rogers comes back in.
Timeout, Seattle.
So the Sonics at the 4:13 mark will regroup with an 87-76 lead. Gary Payton went to his first All-Star game this year. He placed Charles Barkley, who could not play because of an injury. And here's his numbers: 15 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And on the front of Sports Illustrated, the MVP of the Sonics, according to Coach George Karl.
And according to Charles Barkley, he says he's the MVP of the whole league, talking about Payton.
And I was talking to George Karl before the game, and I said, Payton says you understand him. He says, yeah, we both had a little of that hot dog in us. He's talking about he was a little bit of a hot dog when he played at North Carolina.
Yes.
So they are on the same wavelength, I guess, once in a while, having a lot of fun.
Mutombo forces another miss. The Nuggets have done a good job protecting the basketball. You have a team here in Seattle that averages almost 13 steals a game.
Oh, Mutombo runs into Kemp, and boom, down he goes. He looks like a dazed boxer who went down for the count as John Kemp committed his third foul. Sam Perkins coming in. Again, let's look at the action throughout the NBA and the playoffs. A lot of emotion in these games. Utah and San Antonio. Dennis Rodman picking up flagrant fouls, ejected from that ball game, and then Indiana making it 2-0 against Orlando. What a game they had. Larry Brown's done such a remarkable job, and then they had the rumble in the Omni. Eventually Atlanta able to pick up a win, and Lenny Wilkins' team now even at 1.
I was going to talk to you about the steals. 13 steals a game over the course of the season for the Seattle Supersonics. They have just 6 here, so the Nuggets have protected the basketball.
There's a heads-up play by LaFonso Ellis after the miss. 87-79, they're within 8.
Well, they're keeping it close enough. Keeping it close enough. If you can keep this thing close for the next minute or so, you make a little push at the end, you might be able to steal one.
Ellis now with 13 points and 11 rebounds. Into Kendall Gill, he's in low on Brian Stiff. Out it comes now to Mahmoud. Ellis, who runs the floor so well, kicks it back out. 3:27, Mahmoud lost it. John Kemp goes to the floor, and Ellis will get a piece of it, and they'll jump it up.
You know, one thing about Abdul-Rauf, he lost a whole bunch of weight. You look at him right now, he looks almost frail.
Yep.
And just a little bit of contact now with this guy forces him to at least fumble the basketball. He might need to put some weight back on to become as effective as he can be. And look at him next to Gary Payton. You're talking about Payton, who is rather slightly built, but still he looks very, very large against Mahmoud.
Mahmoud is less than 150 pounds, probably closer to like 140. He lost 32 pounds as the most improved player in the league after losing that weight, but he may have gone down too far. And look at this now, a 6-point game.
Now, this is where you want to run. Give yourself a chance to win it at the end.
You got to give a lot of credit to this Denver team after just getting hammered Thursday to play as well as they have here in the Sonics home. And Sam Perkins, he has the ability to hit a big shot. He can really destroy the opponent.
Well, his experience this time of the year, just it's amazing, just unbelievable how important that is for this Seattle team. And, you know, the Denver defense had to converge. The Shrimp got to the basket.
It's a third three for Sam Perkins. Out it comes. A lot of white shirts. Gary Payton. Oh, is that pretty?
Yeah, and Dan wants to use a timeout. But because he didn't have another 20-second timeout left, they had to take the full timeout. He has just one left now, so he has to just conserve that timeout.
Boy, they had it down to 6, and all of a sudden, bang, it's back up to 92-81. There's Ellis inside, being challenged by Perkins. Dikembe has it ripped away, and here come the Sonics again. And Rodney Rogers reaches in and stops this onslaught right now by Seattle.
We've said it time and time again. You just can't relax. You'll see Payton here with the nice finger roll. The defense was there, the conversion, but he makes good decisions. This guy continues to grow, continues to know his game, and he is now making good decisions most of the time.
Rodney Rogers, his 5th foul. If you look through the course of this season, they just break you in the 4th quarter. They just wear you down. You think you're going to win something, and all of a sudden that depth, intensity, the fact that they stay after you all the time, it's awfully hard to survive 4 quarters against this team.
Well, you just can't afford to relax. You really, against this team, have to stay focused for 48 minutes. I mean, you can't make a mistake on offense, and you really can't make a mistake on defense.
Mahmoud got hung up there, and then Perkins comes over and commits the foul on Rodney Rogers. But Mahmoud there got up in midair, had no place to go, and fortunately, Rodney Rogers came racing over to try to retrieve that pass. But the thing that you look at, if you look at the Seattle team, they are 52-5 when they are leading going into the 4th quarter, which again just substantiates what I'm saying. They just eventually get to you somehow or another. Well, I hope you'll stay with us. Mr. Hickman, Fred Hickman, will be joining us inside the NBA. Scores and highlights. Take a look at tomorrow's playoff action. That's after our game concludes here. As Pack will come back in, Mahmoud will check out of the game. Rogers, by the way, has 17 points, all of them coming in this second half.
Well, you hear the crowd screaming, sweep, sweep, but it's not as emphatically as it would have been had there been another game like they had in game 1. I think they are a little bit more concerned about this Denver team after what we have seen here tonight.
Well, they should be. It's tough to win them at Nichols Arena. Denver was 28-13 at home.
Beat the Sonics twice there.
And that high altitude a factor. Here is Perkins running one-hander. Loads it up, blocked by Dikembe, and Brian Stiff comes out of there. 5 blocks now from Mutombo. 1:16 to go.
Payton, good job on defense. Now, Pack needed to shoot that one.
And off it comes to Ellis. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Rogers again. He's trying to get his 5th 3 of the night. Perkins saves it.
I mean, why not go for the 3? You take the ball into traffic, and that percentage drops down an awful lot there. And the Nuggets, while they have hung tight.
There's a traveling call. By the way, that rebound a while ago for Sam Perkins was his 11th of the night.
You'll see Perkins right here. Rogers gets the shot from behind the 3-point line, and he goes up and grabs it. Talked about his experience this time of the year coming to the forefront for Seattle.
Mahmoud will come back in. Stith will check out. So they have Pack, Ellis, Abdul Raouf, Dikembe, and Rodney Rogers. 49 seconds left in the ball game. Well, they did a better job tonight rebounding. They've been out-rebounded 51-43 after being destroyed Thursday. And Ellis with a long 3 from outside.
3 points, Ellis.
Ellis, just before the end of the regular season, led the Nuggets in scoring 4 straight games, and then had a little problem with an injury and did not play at the very final game, as this will be back to Seattle with 30.6 seconds left. And you can hear the sweep in the background.
But still, it's a kind of faint.
Yeah, it's not quite with the authority it might have been after what happened Thursday night. There's a foul as Kemp tries to go inside.
That was our number 55, Dikembe Mutombo.
Mutombo picks up foul number 5 here, but they put the guy on the line that they wanted there, and that is Sean Kemp. 74%. He has improved from the free throw line.
Plus the penalty shot for 2 shots.
What they need now is one of those Rodney Rogers 3 threes in 8 seconds. Think they could pull that off again like you did earlier this year against you?
I don't know.
That might be a little too much to ask.
Maybe too much against this team.
Sean Kemp now from the free throw line is 4 of 6. He has 12 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 blocks. The first game, he had 16 points and 9 rebounds. 95-85. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf can't get it. Dikembe with the rebound. Mahmoud will try it again. Still not there.
Well, and that might be, once again, an indication of his slight build. You see those shots coming up short right now, hitting the front of the rim. A little bit physically stronger. He might be able to knock those shots down the stretch.
Well, he's 5 of 15 here tonight. Then it comes to Dikembe. So he's not had very good shooting nights. He was 3 of 12 Thursday and 5 of 15 tonight. As we wind it down here, and Seattle's going to go up 2 games to none on Denver with the 3rd game Monday night in the Mile High City.
Foul is on number 14, Robert
But
Mack.
George Karl figured this would be a little different game, but George Karl, his team on a mission, taking one more step. And Dan Issel will walk away from here tonight pleased that his team showed the courage and the heart to make this one a much different game.
He was, while he expected them to be just a little bit tight in that first game, he was still upset that they didn't meet the challenge as far as their aggressiveness was concerned in that ball game. He will feel better. You see the Denver bench, they're upset. They know they had a chance to win this ball game, and they still must be feeling pretty good about the effort here, and they have to think they have an excellent chance of winning the ball game in Denver.
And going back to my point, Dan Issel said we got to go through these kind of adversities, these kind of pressure situations to take our team to a new level. And Seattle has won it. 97-87. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf did not shoot well. The guards did not shoot well. As Reggie Williams 3 of 15, Mahmoud 5 of 15. As this guy, Dikembe Mutombo, played tough. He had 14 points and 8 rebounds in the ball game. And so our player of the game, the Budweiser player of the game, is Sean Kemp. 13 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 blocks. And Budweiser will donate $1,000 on behalf of Sean Kemp to the United Negro College Fund. So Kemp, who went to his 2nd straight All-Star game this year, again with a powerful performance here. 97-87, Seattle. Sonics up 2 games to none now over Denver. 97-87. With us is Sean Kemp. And Sean, a little more difficult tonight than it was Thursday night.
Yes, it was. They came out, played more of an aggressive game, rebounded the ball better, played better defense, and we struggled a little bit out there tonight.
Well, you struggle, but yet it's amazing to watch how hard you play. You just have to be ready to play 48 minutes against you guys.
That's right. You know, we have a deep bench, and we play hard out there. We try to take no possessions off, and you know, our defense is the key to our winning.
Sean, one of the things that is probably most impressive about your ball club is the fact that you can go 9-10 deep on the bench. And it shows more, I think, on the defensive end for your team because you just keep wearing them down. You keep forcing the turnovers.
I think so. I think that defensive pressure starts with the guards out there before they come to half court. And those big fellas in the back were just banging bodies and trying to push guys around and rebounding the ball well.
Sean Kemp, I'm just amazed that you're able to hand the ball out on the floor. You run the floor like a point guard at times. Here's an opportunity to see you in action right here. It's amazing, though, when you have your big guy like yourself, 6'10", and you're able to handle the ball and do things that you do.
Well, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy, you know, not only scoring points, but rebounding and getting the ball to some scorers on our team. You know, I think that's a part of my development in the last couple of years. I've been able to improve the ball handling.
Well, let's show more of your game here. Here's a tip-in. You had the complete package here tonight. Watch this follow play.
You get the tip right here over the back. Mutombo wanted the foul. your energy. You play off this crowd, and I know you'll say that this crowd is a huge part of what's happening with this team right now.
Oh, I think so. I think a lot of our improvement came from the crowd. Once the crowd came to the game and start cheering for us, you know, it motivates you as a player. That's what you want. You want the community to come here and support you.
Sean, I think you guys are on a mission. There's a certain look in your face. I see you guys all year long you've been building, and it's a remarkable year thus far. You're one step closer.
I think so. I think, you know, last year was kind of a development year for us. You know, we struggled with that last game in Phoenix, but over the summer we thought about it and came back this year and tried to stay consistent, and I think that's most important.
I heard in the background, sweep, sweep, sweep. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, we hear sweep, but, you know, in the playoffs, you got to take one game at a time. If we can go to Denver and sweep and get some rest, I think it'd be good for us.
Sounds just like a coach, Sean. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay.
Big game.
Sean Kemp, Seattle going up 2-0 as they win it by 10 here tonight. Kemp and company. Let's go now to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.
All right, thank you, guys. And folks, stick around because Inside the NBA comes your way next. Fred Hickman is your host. He'll have all the day's highlights, plus the blow-by-blow on that brawl in Atlanta as the Hawks took on the Heat, a game the Atlanta Hawks won to even that series at a game apiece. 104-86 was the final. Utah tied things up with San Antonio, a 96-84 win over the Spurs, who had a dreadful cold streak in that game in which they went 0 for 25 in a 16-minute stretch. Indiana up 2-0 on Orlando, winning both games on the Magic's floor. 103-101 was the final. Tomorrow night here on TNT, join us at 8 o'clock Eastern for the Dream Team 2 special. We'll follow that up at 8:30 with a half-hour pregame show, which precedes the Portland Trail Blazers and the Houston Rockets in Game 2. The Rockets trying to take a 2-0 lead in that series, just as the Seattle Supersonics did tonight against the Denver Nuggets. The final, once again, was 97-87. We'll send it back to Gary and Goose for a recap right after this.